Hello, Internet. Welcome to Jon Talks, where we talk about things that I feel and talk about other things sometimes, but mostly things that I feel. And people sometimes go, oh, that's interesting. Today, we're going to be talking about burnout, a creative burnout, a work burnout. There's all different types of burnout. I don't think it's just one thing. I've had a lot of, I guess, experience with burning out making content on the internet, but I've also experienced burnout with work and personal hobbies, and it can be a difficult thing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and what I really do when I get in that mood. Watch this real quick though. Bang, bang. I got a bow that you left click and then it shoots the zombies. It's like I have a pew pew gun. You know, you're like all the way over there. I can't hit that. Yeah, I can. Bam, bam. It's awesome. But burnout. I've experienced burnout a lot. I experienced it when I was working with others. I experience it now. I've experienced it, I guess, since the time I've created content till now. And I guess it's when you feel it, you know, because it's unlike any other feeling. It's not depression, which it can be caused by depression, but it's not like a depressing feeling. At least for me, when I experience burnout, it's almost like I get real low energy wise. Like I just don't have the energy to do anything. And then my brain starts going, oh, it's not worth doing anyway. And it'll cause all these things. I mean, like, oh, your content's not good enough. Not enough people are watching. You're losing money. And it can be caused by all sorts of things. But I'm going to go through it. So today at work, or I guess, yeah, we'll just talk about my work life. Today at work, I experienced burnout this week because I was just tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And last week didn't help, where my tire blew up and my brakes went out, and then I thought my brakes were going to catch on fire. All in the span of 3 days that happened. My brakes went out. I mean, I put it to the floor and it barely stopped. My rear tire blew out, and they fixed it, and then it started smoking from the rear tire. Like all in the span of 3 days. All happened at different points. And at that point, I was just burnt out on the week, and I just didn't want to continue working. Luckily, it was on a Friday, and I was able to have Saturday and Sunday to rest and just recuperate my thoughts and get back to it. And it happened this week too, today, where I was just driving, and I do a lot of driving. It's what I do as a job. I just drive place to place, and I had an hour drive to Atlanta, where the Capitol building is, in Inman Park. You might know where that's at for people who live in Georgia. Not a terrible part of Atlanta. I don't like going to Atlanta, but I'd rather go to Atlanta than Decatur. I mean, there's bad shit everywhere, but it's just draining, I suppose. So anyway, I was drained because going like an hour to one place, delivering something, and then driving an hour to where my usual stops are, it burnt me out because I'm spending 2 hours in a truck, stopping, going, like non-stop. And I do my best to try to keep my mind focused on the road because I can't really be distracted, so I can't have any loud music playing. I really shouldn't have anything on my phone playing. I try to just keep myself imaginative while I'm driving, and it just gets taxing after a while because you do the same thing over and over again, and you're taking all these long trips from one place to another, and it just drains you. Not even including the physical exhaustion that you feel when you have to get out of the truck in the Georgia heat and unload metal, unload cylinders, and talk to these people. And I do a lot of talking to a lot of people now, a lot of business owners, so I'm constantly socializing, so there's no real time to have my, I guess, introverted self recharge, especially when all the stops can be next to each other. So it drains me, and I get a burnout right around the end of the week, Thursday and Friday, and I feel it real hard this week. And all I can really do with work burnout is try to like on the weekend, like have a day where I go out, maybe have a few drinks, maybe go see a movie, just do something to break the pattern of always being on the computer. Because even that, it's like coming home, getting on the computer, it's really mentally exhausting. So I do my best to try to have fun throughout the week if I can. Like if on a Friday, me and my buddy, we want to go drinking at the bar, go talk to some women, do the casual thing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll go do that. And it's a lot of fun, and it really breaks that pattern for me and has a day where I can just unwind. And I think with like a content burnout, it's a very different feeling because when you get yourself burnt out on a creative activity, even though you want to do it, like it's just impossible. Like I experienced burnout a lot, like with TikTok, draining the ocean. Like I experienced burnout with it. I experienced burnout making videos, like the FNAF videos or the roleplay videos, because it takes so much to put it. I mean, I don't mean to bitch and complain about it, but it does take a lot of time to make bigger videos. So when something like Two Souls, One Body comes out, or like the hour-long FNAF video that I posted, it drains me because I see it and I want it to do well, and sometimes it may not. And I put all this time into something and I feel super drained afterward. I don't want to work on anything else. So I just try my best to recover from it, because after you put so much time and creative thought into a project, like you just need time to reset yourself. And I don't think we do that enough as people. I think we're always trying to jump to the next thing, and we never give ourselves time to reset. So what I've been trying to do with content, at least recently, is upload on like one big video on Saturday, and then that's my video for the week. And I want to get back into making semi-regular content in that sort of same vein, but it can be difficult, especially when you work 8 hours and then you want to go home and be creative, and there's just not enough time throughout the day. So with content burnout, I think we should, at least for myself, I've been trying to give myself more time to really unwind and be refreshed for when the next video I want to make comes into that progress of creation, because there's just a lot that goes into it. Skin making, thumbnail artists, details, animations if there's going to be animations in it, editing, which can take hours depending on what it is. So there's a lot of different ways to get burnt out on content creating. And the only advice I'd have for it is just try to give yourself, just know that sometimes, like if you're a big creator, maybe it's not going to bother your audience as much if you upload a video once a month, especially if you're like Dream Not Found and you upload a video and it gets 50 million views, and I still bet he puts hours into that content, like literal days, like everyone else. But there's not as much pressure to release the content, because you can just upload whenever, and once you have that audience, you don't have to worry about when it goes up, because it's going to do well. But you still have to be semi-regular. I don't know. It's just a difficult road, because now I know if I don't upload semi-regularly to the Jon channel, it might do worse, and that's the last thing I want for a channel that's already on a dying leg, So it's just an interesting parallel, I suppose. Like, burnout happens when you create content, and if you don't give yourself a break from making content, like, you're just going to hate doing it. And I don't think that you should be doing that to yourself, because you should never hate what you're doing when you're trying to create, because the whole idea of creating is doing it for fun and making something that didn't exist before. So I just hope that if you are trying to make content, you take the advice of it's okay to take a break. And I know, like me and myself included, I feel worthless when I'm not working. So it's very hard for me to take a break like that. It's very hard for me to just stop working. But it's important to realize that nothing's more important than your mental health and your well-being. Like, videos can come second, because you're never going to get time back with your family or get personal time back for yourself. So I just hope that you take that in consideration if you're trying to make content. It's okay. It's okay to take time for yourself, Next kind of burnout I want to talk about is like hobbies and stuff, like I've gotten burnout on making music, which is just purely a hobby for me. I'm not that good at it. I just do it because I enjoy it. And even that I've burned myself out on. Like, I haven't made a song in like a year or 8 months. And I experienced burnout with it because I feel like I have to be in a certain mindset, or I have to write a certain song for it to be good enough for you guys to want to listen to it or want to be involved with it. And if it's not to that level that I expect, then I just won't continue it. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to write a song and then I just stop because I don't think it's good enough. A good thing with that is just to realize that if you're just a hobby that you like, there's no pressure in being the best. I think there's a million people out there in the world better at me at singing and playing the guitar, but it never stops me from trying to create. But when I feel that burnout especially, I just need to take a step away from it. I'll fiddle with it every now and then. I'll pick up my guitar, play a few songs, but creating music, doing that, I really just have to enjoy it. I really have to be into it, because if I'm not going to like the results. And I don't want to force myself to write something that I'm not going to like in the future. Every song that I try to put out, I'd like to think is good, that I put my heart into. And sometimes you just need to realize that nothing's going to be perfect, but that doesn't mean you have to stop trying, Besides burnout like that, work burnout, creative burnout, I just think there's life burnout too. I think you can get burnt out on life. And I think once you start doing the same things, you pressure yourself to do these same things, and you have to do them because you need to make money, or you think you need to be creative all the time. You have to do art. You have to do this, or you're worthless. Like, it's hard to take that step back, especially when you have that mentality beaten into you from a young age to work, or you're worthless. I think, like, the most important thing you can do for yourself is to realize that those things, or the things that are happening now, aren't going to be the biggest things to us 4 years from now or 5 years from now. Like, you're going to still be doing art. That's great. But I hope that in 5 years you're not going to be obsessing over the fact that you didn't create a FNAF art piece when you were like 18, I just hope that you can take that time for yourself, relax, enjoy life, and then those hobbies, these things, are always going to be there for you when you want to get to them. There's no reason to rush into it, no reason to feel pressured. I know some people do YouTube as a job, and that's a different story, because then it is your job. It's not just a hobby. It's just not something you do for fun. It's something you have to do. I've been on that end of it, and it was terrible. I would wake up at 8 a.m. and I wouldn't stop recording till like 12. And it's a horrible thing, because you never have time for your mind to reset. No time to spend with your family, no time to reset, no time to just feel like what you're doing is good. I mean, I know at a certain point when I was making content, and I was doing that like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., sometimes 12 p.m. schedule, I would just feel awful. I'd have no energy. I would have no real goals, and I would just feel empty. And I knew the things that we were creating were just not good enough. Like, they were just subpar. It was just subpar content for no reason, because we couldn't put everything into it, or we couldn't be bothered to care because it just wasn't worth it. So I think the good thing to remember, and this is the last thing I'll say, is that it's okay to feel that burnout. It is okay to take a break. And I hope that if you are experiencing burnout in any way, you take some time for yourself and you just take a step back and enjoy the little things in life. Like mining blocks and getting meaningless levels on hypixel. Come on, hypixel, give me my YouTube rank back. Give me my island. Oh, I swear I'll riot the streets. Please, hypixel, Simon, I'll dress up in a banana suit just for you, baby. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I think people, I would like to think at least people have been enjoying them. It really means a lot to me. This is ToiletJon signing out. Love you guys.